story about the Bidens. Why do they only look at the juicy story on Trump and not so much interested in the Biden story?
I mean, I think it's pretty obvious that the media are invested in helping Joe Biden do well in his campaign for the president. So any story that hurts him or helps Donald Trump is something that they're going to avoid. There's also the issue that there's just a lot of corruption like this in Washington, D.C. People might wonder, how is it that my congressman goes to D.C. and returns 20 years later an extremely wealthy person?
Right.
It's because of this access that people have. So a lot of people in D.C. say, well, what the Bidens are doing isn't that different from what other people are doing. And that may be, but a lot of people in the rest of the country say this type of trading access for money is very unseemly. And when it involves hostile foreign powers or even non-hostile foreign powers, it can be an area that needs looking into.
But the thing is, Molly, he's been so mellow about addressing it. He's quickly on the prompter talking about he's going to attack my family. Not really. It's just your son and his investments in two countries that are certainly foreign policy challenges, wouldn't you say?
It's not just his son, it's also his younger brother, James, who's involved in some of this as well. And I do want to point out, there has been a little bit of news coverage about it. There was a very lengthy New Yorker profile about Hunter Biden, about his involvement in Ukraine, also about getting gifts from Chinese businessmen who are close to the Chinese government, like, $80,000 gemstones and whatnot. So there's a lot of stuff that is interesting out there. And it's kind of surprising that some of these media figures are so ignorant of these facts or claiming that to talk about these facts is a conspiracy theory.
Yeah, Molly, the Democrats might say they might just turn a blind eye to this because they like Joe Biden and they like his policies. But the problem here is the double standard, right? I mean, you can't have it one way for one person and then someone in the other political party gets away with it.
I actually think it's so much worse than just a double standard, which is something that we've seen for a long time. We actually have a story here where Donald Trump and a few people in the government are trying to get to the bottom of what actually happened in the 2016 election, which involves some meddling from foreign countries. It involves the weaponization of our law enforcement and intelligence agencies. And as this comes out, they're trying to focus or refocus this story in a different direction. And it is not good.
So and when you look at, a couple of weeks ago, Joe Biden told our correspondent, I've never talked to my son about his overseas dealings. What investigative reporter is looking into that?
Well, on that note, where is